Hello and welcome back to the Crusades of the Purple Knight. This is the level 8 edition and we are sitting here next to the weapon and armour brokers in the marketplace pawn exchange. Not quite as much you'll be relieved to hear to tell you this time around. One of you very helpfully pointed out that I can give the ship buffs to the skeleton as well. Now, if you know me at all, you'll know I really don't like to play with pets and hirelings if it can be avoided, but the skeleton has certainly been a helpful part of the questing until now for staying alive, not least of which because in that Pale Master tree, when you get the skeleton, it also comes with profane PRR for you as well, which is very nice. So why then have I removed it, you ask? Well, I thought it was time now, as we took level 8, re-geared a bit, we got another point in intelligence. Our intelligence is beginning to be reasonably significantly higher than the strength now. Plus the fact we were missing out on this extra damage bonus, which is now, what's that, let's say they round down, so it's going to be 6 more damage with that know the angles switched on. So it's beginning to be reasonably significant, so I thought this was a good point to reorganise and start going into this Harper tree. We're just missing the 2 points for intelligence to damage, and then we've cracked it in there. To do that, I removed quite a bit out of here. I took almost everything out of the skeleton knight, and I have respec'd into this negative crit chance. It's still rubbish at the moment, I'm afraid. What have we got? Crit chance negative. Oh, actually, no, 17 isn't terrible, is it? Where's that come from? Oh, that's part of the gear. I'm jumping the gun there. There's some come from the gear as well. So that's not horrible. So every almost every 1 in 5 now, we're getting a negative crit on this ticking healing aura, which is nice. I suppose I should put the lesser one back on the bar, shouldn't I? So we'll hit that only if we absolutely are in dire straits. So yes, basically we've gone 10 points into the Harper tree for a point of intelligence, another +1 on our weapon enhancement, so +1 to hit and damage, which is nice. Intelligence to hit finally, and the know the angles, which we press that, costs us 15 spell points, lasts for 2 minutes and gives us half of our intelligence bonus in added damage. So in this case I think it's going to be 6, which isn't bad, and the next 2 points we get will be spent in there for intelligence to damage, and then I can basically forget about that tree. Although I'm thinking of maybe putting another point in there, +2 to hit versus evil, +2 to hit and damage versus evil, and 5 universal spell power. What do you folks think? Worth spending the extra point, or better things to do with it? I think there's quite a lot that's evil, not least of which Reapers. I think they're lawful evil. Okay, anyway, that's that. So I've barely got the skeleton. I've only got that 1 point put in it. Indeed, the last quests, I finished off the 3-barrel cove. So quests in between the last episode and this one. Hang on a minute, what did I... The last episode was the depths of despair and all that, wasn't it? So yes, I did the whole of the 3-barrel cove, minus the thing with the ship at the start. I think it's called guard duty, I did everything else in the 3-barrel cove. And that, as you can probably see, has taken us already to level 9. Gear wise, we've had a bit of a reorganisation. Oh, come on, just one. So go on, I've brought the stats up, so let's see them. So intelligence, we're doing well. I think you've seen that already. We're a bit all over the place with these resistances though, aren't we? I'm not mega worried about that because we keep running this ticking heal. So hopefully that will compensate somewhat for that. I could, if I was that worried, I could put some more topazes in there, but it's only going to be a couple more levels until we get to the level 10, and it's probably going to be changed around again. That brings me on to my next point, the gear. When you're doing something like we are here and just doing one life of one thing and then one life of another thing, the gear's always going to be a bit of a mix and match and never going to be amazing. But as you're probably seeing here, it's still more than, more than sufficient to do well on Low Reaper. This is a character with a low number of past lives and he's doing very nicely. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is everything. You don't have to have everything optimized, for a TR process. The other point I would make, having done both sides now of the coin, I've done the multitude of racial lives with one build that worked well for me, in my case the Acid Warlock, with gear that was optimized, for use on that character. I knew what I was doing at each level, what I was putting on. And now I've had the chance to compare with, doing something different each life, actually, trying out the class as opposed to sort of fudging it as people often can, like if you want a past life barbarian, say, people have been known to do it as an inquisitive or whatever, rather than play the barbarian. I'll hold my hand up, I'm equally culpable to that kind of thing. I won't say I enjoyed it. In fact, those lives, the inquisitive and the sort of pseudo warlock thing, 9 levels of warlock and 10 levels of whatever you want your past life in, they were among the worst lives I've ever done, because it's not particularly strong. It's not a particularly appealing play style either. So, having been through this this recent experience, trying new things, I would encourage you folks to go out and do the same. And yes, maybe it takes you a bit longer, overall in the leveling process, but you probably won't notice it that much because you're having fun and you're learning sort of new mechanics, new builds. And maybe, as happened to me with the Druid, you might have that much fun with one of them. You might think, maybe I'm going to ditch my Sorcerer or Warlock or Inquisitive build and go with this thing instead. You never know. In fact, one of the Bear Party, she was in that category. She was with range characters, how I was with the Warlock. She absolutely wouldn't touch anything unless it was ranged. And then one day I was doing a bard life on my main character, the standard spell singer bard, throwing all the sonic stuff all over the place and using mass hold. And I said to her after she'd seen me do that, because she'd run with me doing that, I said, why don't you have a try next time around, because you need a bard life. And she was like, oh, no, I don't know. I finally convinced her to do it, and now I think she's got 2, if not 3 bards on her books and absolutely loves the class. So, just goes to show, you never know until you try. Okay, so that's the stats, the saves are looking good. Fortification's gone through the roof. I think I'd better do the gear and explain why here. Right, so I've got some really tasty items to show you here. Some's a bit of a hodgepodge of, you can see some slavers items here, just bits that I had for other classes and other characters that sort of semi-suit this build. Nothing's amazing for it. So we still have quite a bit of the Fey gear. In fact, we've got 6 pieces there, you can see on the blue lettering. There's only the 7th piece missing, which does mean that we've lost 5 PRR and MRR there. You can probably see we've taken a bigger hit than 5. We've actually lost 20 of each because we've removed the thing there from the Pale Master tree, so we've lost a 15 profane bonus. Oh sorry, that's a 15 PRR only, isn't it? So we've lost 20 PRR and 5 MRR. That sounds a bit better. Why did I accept such a reduction in defense? Well, we've kind of been doing very well. So well offensively that our slightly less potent defense I don't think is going to be noticed too much. So let's just walk you through some of the changes. These two here, my goodness me, are they good for this build. This one, for any melee build at this level, this comes from the Temple of Elemental Evil. You'll have to Google the Eternal Flame Guard's lenses to see exactly which one it comes from. I'm pretty convinced it comes from the first one, the part 1, Temple Part 1, which would be the first quest that you would do in the new revamped temple. And my god, look at this for the level. We've got 5 deadly, 7 double strike, and 3 melee and universal spell power as well. I've put the intelligence 5 in there just to boost the spell DCs, and now the hit and damage as well. And then there's this, which if you've watched my previous lives, you'll know, according to me at least, it's one of the most overpowered heroic items in the game, giving the same profane bonus to spell DCs 2 as you would get on legendary level 32 gear, which to me is ridiculously good. The Sapphire of Snow Peak speed in there gives you the max movement speed, so we've no need to cast the what's it called, Expeditious Retreat anymore for our movement. And also I'm just seeing there's an insightful intelligence there, so how crazy do you want to get? That's on a level 7 item. It's listed as 8 because my Snow Peak Sapphire is a level 8, but goodness me. And the Profane Life Force, 15 on the hit points as well, stacking with other boosts to health. There's nothing not to like about that. This dastardly trinket slot that we can't seem to find anything decent to go in, that's another filler. We lost the Seeker off the boots down there, so I put it back here in the trinket slot. Quality fortification is just really surplus to requirement because we're in the 200s and we're not even halfway through heroic, so that's ridiculous. The reason we're so high is this Undead Shroud is giving us 100 bonus, a bit like the druid forms, like the water elemental or the flame thing would, 100 on top of whatever your actual fort is. Except these Undead Shrouds come much earlier in the leveling process. An interesting item in the slot there, the Demon Heart Emerald. If my reading is right, every time we are hit, it has a 10% chance to trigger 30 temporary hit points, which is nice. So we're between the temporary hit points, as we'll be getting hit all the time, and the ticking aura, we should be doing okay, I think, health-wise. Those two are the same. Now that's the third really powerful item we've equipped at this level. The Spinneret. And why is it so good for us? Well, Spell Law 4, that's giving us an extra 4% critical on all different types of spells. In our case, that's not mega useful because we're only using one type of elemental spell, which is the negative the death aura, but it's still very nice to have, as I've not been able to slot a negative critical boost yet. Quality potency is great for all our spell powers, so that's nice for the imbues as well as the negative death aura things, and the force on the Eldritch Strike. And the one I like most, well, there are two nice ones there. The spell pen, I suppose it's a bit early to be using anything with spell pen, but the quality spell focus mastery is stacking with everything else. So we've ended up now with a pretty reasonable 34 on the web, which is not bad at all. Gloves are the same. That's some slavers, crafted things. We lost the resistance from the trinket that we had in there, so this item has resistance for. Also the Master's Gift is slotted into that one, which was on the goggles, you might recall. I've kept the goggles as a swap-in item because they have true seeing on them, so to find any secret doors or anything. Another slaver's crafted. This one's nice for the... well, actually, it's the only source of spell power I've got now. So we've got combustion, just because that's what happened to be on there. I would have preferred corrosion for acid. Spell sight for extra spell power. And a nice boost to constitution. So as you can see at the moment, our only really decent spell power is the fire one at 195. Now, if we run into a situation where things are immune or healed by fire, I will switch to either acid or electric. You can see those are not terrible, but certainly quite a jump down from where the fire is at the moment. I'm thinking that at level 10 we could potentially equip the Burn Scar Sash from Ravenloft and give us fire and acid spell power boost, and then we've got two to toggle between as we prefer. We could of course go the other way and put the Thrumming Spark cord in and have cold and electric to go between. I'm not sure which would be the better option. I don't think there's a bad option there. They're both part of the caster set, and we'll have to see what we think when we get there. Otherwise, everything else is the same. What else have we got to... yeah, I had a nice experience switching imbues in the fire caves in the 3-barrel cove. It suddenly occurred to me I should switch to the cold, and my goodness me, those mephits and elementals and whatnot, they just got absolutely roasted by that. So that was nice. Oh yes, I've seemed to have found a couple of benefits as well of being undead. One being that you don't have the issue of having to hold breath underwater. They a bit like the Warforged, undead don't seem to run into that at all, so that's good. I was in the Two-Toed Tobias quest there with lots of water and just happened to notice there was no bar. And I think the other one, equally useful, this came to light also in 3-barrel cove in one of the Gal's Tomb quests, the one with all the warlocks who like to throw around the hold, is it hold person or hold monster? Devastating if you don't have freedom of movement. Well, we don't have freedom of movement, and we were standing inside all the circles and never seemed to get stopped by this. So I'm thinking that just like the standard undead against the mass hold spell, it doesn't work on them, I'm pretty sure. I think that doesn't work on us either. So that's really nice. And I think... oh, I took the liberty of stocking up on some spell components for the first 4 levels, because we were almost out of... I was using this, is it Omnispell Dust that we'd dropped out of a quest or something, but we're almost out of it, so I stocked up. And I'm pretty sure most of you will do this anyway, but just in case you don't, it's a good idea to put the components on your hotbar so you can see what levels you're at, and if something's running low you can restock before it runs out in the middle of the quest and makes you a sad puppy. Right, I think that's it for the waffle. I thought maybe we could try something a bit more ambitious this time. So we're gonna go for this one, the Chronoscope, which is just located at the top of the marketplace. I nearly went into the airship thing instead. We'll go on Elite, not Reaper, I think, with this being a raid.
You have arrived at the Chronoscope excavation site. Nelgan is here somewhere, but can this place truly help her find her brother, or is she being deceived? Nelgan smiles at you and turns to speak to the others.
These adventurers...
Professor Tremus gleefully turns to the nightmarish mind flayer. Caratrix, begin channeling.
I'm going to try initially to manage without the skeleton,
This is very important. Think back to the
because
last
he just
time
ends up annoying me.
Yes, that was in Stormreach. He was performing at his favorite spot by the pawn exchange. The day the Devil Army attacked. The Devils overwhelmed us. People were panicking, trying to flee. And I lost sight of Nat. Oh, Nat, where did you go?
And mana management's definitely going to be a thing here.
Nell and her companions vanished into a portal. Before you can follow, a green creature appears out of nowhere and sneers. All right, boys. Tremus's orders are to kill the squid face and anyone else left here.
One mistake I've made straight away, you can't use Reaper boost on non-Reaper quests. I think we'll get rid of the weedy ones first. That aura's ticking up very nicely. Now it looks to me as though he's immune to fire. Let's try the electric. Yes, okay. We'll stick with the electric imbue then.
With a blood-curdling scream, the last of Bazdor's crew is dispatched. It appears Caratrix survived their attack. The Mind Flayer struggles to its feet. Is this the Stormreach marketplace? You hear the sounds of pillage and slaughter. A mystical doorway floats against the east wall of the tavern. Whoever created it may be powerful enough to help you find Nelgan. Down below you is the marketplace, now a war zone in the midst of a devil invasion. At the center is a huge red tent, but it is not the tent you remember. Something strange is happening there.
The epic version of this one, along with the Zawabi's Revenge in the Desert Sands, two very good ones to do if you're looking for farming greater tokens of the 12. These devil trooper things are tough, aren't they? Do we actually have to kill him, or can we just leave him? Three and a half thousand hit points, goodness me. I could do without all your interference as well. Yeah, the lightning imbue and actually the negative is working reasonably well on those. I think we need to go in the tavern first, don't we? Yeah. I'm worried about the mana situation.
There are Abishai in here, but strangely they do not attack. One of them sneers at you. That's
I think
one
we're going to have to be a lot more
The
economical.
devils appear to be interrogating him about something. The evil creatures
Although
begin to
actually,
lay down his demands for Nelgan.
there is a rest shrine
Go to the Bank of Kundarak.
after this next big battle, isn't there?
There you must acquire the key to the Gan's deposit box. I don't care what you have to do to get it. Bring the key back to me, and Nelgan might, just might, live to grow into a dirty old woman. Just one more thing. You might run into a muscle-brained devil named Bloodplate. He's the aggressive type. Good luck, fools.
If we could get them all to crowd round us, that would be nice. I wonder if the neg energy burst would take off them and give to me if I needed it. The level drain thing seems to be hitting very reasonably. Nice one. I think that's a chest, isn't it? We're going to have to rebuff before we go in here. Yeah, mana could be tight in here. Let's just... what could we do? We could use the...
High atop a platform in the bank lobby.
No, let's use everything.
Metal plates directly onto a huge devil. It sees you and bellows.
Everything except for rage.
Leave or your lives will be withdrawn.
Now, is he vulnerable to lightning? Yes. Okay. 34,000 hit points. Wow. Okay. Now, as long as he doesn't start hammering us down. I don't think he was. But if you don't know this raid, every time he goes away to repair like that, I think he heals some, which isn't ideal. Can we get them all round us? Oh, let's get rid of you. I don't particularly like... Is there another caster back there? No, you don't. Now, how much has the big guy got left? I'm going to have to put the death aura back on again. I think I'm going to have to keep everything else off. Else we're going to run out of mana. That was a bit of lag. Go away. how many more of these things can we do? 35. I would have to take the extend off it, wouldn't I? He's hardly losing anything, is he? He's going back and repairing almost to full. If that's going to happen every time, then I don't see as we can do this. In which case I will have to leave with my tail between my legs and go and do another quest. Just not quite putting out enough damage, I guess. Yeah, with no spell points left, I'm gonna have to abandon this, I'm afraid. Sad times. So I don't lose my... Can we go back out through there? No, just have to recall. So I don't lose my speech. What can we do instead? A level 6-ish quest. Let's go and do... Hang on a minute, let me just check up the level 6. All the Fae we've done. Oh, okay, there's one in the Hut from Beyond that we haven't done. The prequel to the Isle of Dread. That's a level 6. Let's go and show you that one. Come on. So we clearly didn't put out enough damage to be having a go at that last one, which is a bit of a disappointment, but it is a raid, so fair dues. Anybody with half a brain would have tested that beforehand before just going in and looking stupid. Okay, so this is the Isle of Dread prequel. Prequel, is it? Prequel. And hopefully we'll manage to look a little bit less silly in this one.
This machine Foxpaw is building looks perfectly safe. You hear his voice.
You can mess about doing all the puzzle here, but it takes quite a long time and it's not really worth the while. So I think you'll find that most people maybe just do it once that way and then just do it the quick way afterwards when they do this quest. So just pull the lever and get to the door. I can hear you all saying it might have been different if I'd have taken the skeleton. Possibly. I remain to be convinced. Oh, I could put the fire back on now, couldn't I? could... Yeah. Now there's quite a few spikes and things down here. So there you see he's under the water and there's no breath meter or anything, so that's one of the nice aspects of being undead. So we've 2 here. We're looking for 3 crests in all to move on. I'm pressing backspace to highlight the locations. Is that 3 we've got or just 2? 2. There can be one down there, I think, can't there? Not today. Now these spikes are very keen, so have an eye on where you're moving here. Try and thread the needle. And then we've got some bear traps here. We do have reasonable strength though. Oh, not reasonable enough. Oh, is it strength or is it reflex that gets you through there? Well, whichever one of the 2 it was, we have decent strength and reflex save. Let's try and economise the mana a bit. That's one good thing. My fire explosion thing doesn't melt the webs. That's helpful. So we're looking for one more crest to be able to open the way onwards. Okay. Now I think we're gonna need to get buffed up here. Oh, it's put my know the angles on cooldown, but didn't actually give me the buff. That's not cool, game.
Alongside the Sahuagin bodies is a shrine with an empty alcove. The conch of secrets is missing.
Now then, this can be quite a tricky area. Probably should have used the web there. I'm kind of in economy mode, and I do have my buffs running. So up the steps. Fire should work reasonably well against these undeads. Oh, I don't know what happened there, just suddenly disappeared. But if you get the caster in those situations. The others do disappear, but the way it did that seemed a bit weird. If nothing else, this is demonstrating that we can manage quite well without the ticking heel, the skeleton, and the some of the buffs that we like to have going. I do have a bit of lag going on here. Oh, we've got quite a section coming up here. There is a shrine afterwards. Come on, pick up. It's because there's some people below me, it's not wanting to pick up. Oh, come on. I'm going for the necromancer, try and make the rest of them disappear. Seems to be quite laggy at the moment, but still we're managing reasonably well. Let's not forget to shrine. Still quite some people to get through. Yeah, it's an illustration, if nothing else, of the way the game has of keeping you in your place. There was me sort of swaggering along, thinking, the build is getting good. Try and go into that raid, and we got absolutely told otherwise, didn't we? That our damage was not sufficient, at least not for that content. I think, well, I'm pretty sure I have done that in the past on certain caster builds. I'll have to try it another time round the wheel with something a bit different and see how we go on. Putting all the buffs on because there's some fairly heavy stuff coming, I think. Quite a lot of it. Trying again to get the necromancer so we can just kill the undead off. Where are we going? Down here. I was hoping they would come and surround me up here, but they declined. Yes, I think I just saw a lot of undead disintegrating behind me when we killed the second necromancer. Okay, buffs, they need doing. Stack the 2 death auras together for this grand finale. We've got somebody up there now. Even though our dart is feeble, watch the imbues going. Look. So with a decent imbue, which we quite do have, we can still do something with the ranged, if needs be. Let's have some more Reaper power. In fairness, that quest that we just failed, sorry, the raid that we just failed on, it would have been better suited to a build that had decent single target damage as well. We have decent AoE, but the single target isn't amazing. Well, that wasn't so bad. Oh, hello. So that one, in case you were wondering, is free to play inside the hut from beyond. It's the first. It's not actually part of the Isle of Dread saga, as I understand it, but it's the sort of prequel to that whole saga. Right, so mixed emotions there. I'd planned to try and show you that Chronoscope one. I hadn't. I suppose I should next time. Note to self: at least try the content and see how I go on before ending up doing something like that. We just didn't have the damage to hammer the boss down, because every time he went and repaired, he was coming back at almost full health. So that was just going to be running out of mana and in the end running out of life because no heals. Or it was going to be a painful war of attrition. Either way, you wouldn't have wanted to see much of it. Still, I think we found a half-decent substitute. The build is going in the right direction. We're making decent progress. We'll be taking level 9 soon, I think. And we'll be back to you soon with another episode. Thank you very much as always for looking, and we'll speak to you soon. Take care.